Hello, everyone. My name is Marge Plum. I'm president of the board of directors of the ACLU of Nebraska. It's lovely to see you all, and thanks so much for tuning in. Although we are all joining this conversation from different places, it is likely all of us are on occupied land. In my case, I am on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Omaha people. Let that fact call us to action today and every day to protect and advance the rights of Indigenous peoples, the original stewards of this land. On behalf of the organization, I want to also express our condolences to the family of Kenneth Jones, who was killed by Omaha police last week. A traffic stop should not be a death sentence. May our work today and going forward create the change we need to protect the lives of Black Nebraskans and all Nebraskans of color. This annual meeting is required by our bylaws. It provides a picture of finances to our members and all our supporters. It also gives us a chance to directly share thoughts about priorities and the work ahead of us in a way that is direct, conversational, and accessible. The format varies each year, and given the pandemic, this is our first year of hosting it online. I mentioned membership. More than 500,000 people nationwide are card-carrying members of the ACLU. When you give any amount of money to the political arm, the 501c4 or union of ACLU, you are a member, which means you are solely responsible for approving any changes to our bylaws, to vote in members to our board of directors, and to receive this annual update on our programs and finances. Thank you, Sam. So for all of our members, thank you so much for your support. I'm proud to say that the ACLU of Nebraska's finances are healthy. The ACLU of Nebraska is technically comprised of two separate entities, the union and the 501c3 foundation. That provides flexibility and allows us to maximize our impact. We'll start with foundation revenues and expenses. The majority of income of our revenues, as you can see, are grant funded. And a lot of healthy individual donation support as well. Individuals who give to the foundation receive the benefit of a tax deduction. Let me share with you the foundation expenses, which are about $100,000 under revenue, and the vast majority of our expenses are spent on programs. I'll show you the union revenues or income. The 501c4 revenues are primarily ACLU national contribution, which makes up the largest share of our 501c4. Again, you donate to the union to be able to declare yourself a card-carrying member of the ACLU. While those donations are not tax deductible, they are the most flexible for the ACLU to be able to participate in legislative and policy activities. The union expenses, which are about $8,000 under revenue, again, mostly program expenses, which make up the largest share of our expenses. One of my favorite parts of the annual meeting is celebrating the work of the year behind us. We have urged an equitable response to the pandemic, including our recently announced lawsuit regarding the safety of workers in the meatpacking plant. We've joined with the community to call for racial justice. We have defended protesters with a federal civil rights lawsuit, effectively ended juvenile solitary confinement as we know it in Nebraska, winning access to secret death penalty drug records, and fighting tooth and nail to protect access to abortion. Our honorees played leading roles in those fights, and our keynote speaker is a perfect person to hear from about how we need to approach that work in a way that reflects we the people means all of us. Amber, can you turn on your camera?
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Thank you so
morning.
much, Marge. And hello, Nebraska. I hope you all are. Oh, I think I'm sorry. I think I'm just jumping right in here. It's good to see you all.
You're totally fine. I want to let everybody know who you are and why we are so excited to have you here today. So Amber is a social justice Amber is a social justice advocate, community organizer, and unapologetic queer Black woman. As the ACLU's first Chief Equity and Inclusion Officer, she provides vision, leadership, and direction for the ACLU's nationwide strategy to support equity, diversity, inclusion across all aspects of the organization's work and efforts. She is an ambassador on the importance of EDI as a crucial cornerstone of the ACLU's culture of belonging. For that alone, you should know her, but one more reason she should be a household name. Amber added the black and brown stripes to the rainbow flag, prompting an international conversation about race and discrimination within our LGBTQI+ community. And as a proud member of that community, I'm so thrilled for your work and what you were able to achieve. Amber, we're so glad to have you here. Please, onto your notes, onto your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marge. I appreciate that. And hello, Nebraska. I hope you all are having one of those beautiful fall days your gorgeous state is known for. Now, Nebraska would be on my mind and my heart today, even if I wasn't with you all on this call. Like so many of you, I am grieving yet again the police murder of one of our folks. It's the police murder of Kenneth Jones. And my spirit is with your protesters, and my gratitude is with everyone at the ACLU of Nebraska, staff attorneys and donors, organizers, administrators, petition signers, everyone who is working day and night to end police violence, protect and honor Black lives, and defend our civil liberties while we're doing it. As Mark mentioned, my name is Amber Hikes, and as you just heard, I am the first Chief Equity and Inclusion Officer at ACLU National, where I provide the vision, leadership, and direction for the ACLU's nationwide strategy to support equity, diversity, and inclusion across all aspects of the organization. And I'm just so grateful to be here with you all as the ACLU of Nebraska is doing some of the most important work in the country. Whether you're fighting for workers in the midst of this pandemic, defending the civil rights of our protesters, or putting an end to juvenile solitary confinement, you all are doing the serious, focused, necessary work of protecting and expanding civil liberties for all Nebraskans. And your state and our people are better for it. And while you're doing this powerful work, we are living in one of the most difficult years of our lifetime. We've spent this year, a year where we should have been able to simply focus on our health and the health and safety of our families and communities. A year where so many of us all of a sudden became full-time caretakers and homeschoolers and virtual wedding planners and Plan B experts. A year where we had to say a last goodbye over FaceTime. We also spent that year in a more coordinated, expansive fight for racial justice than our country has seen in a generation. You spent that year at the ACLU and in Nebraska building a more just and equitable state. And with some of the most historic wins in racial justice, in workers' rights and reproductive rights, in legal reform and LGBTQIA justice, protections for students and youth, there is so much we have to celebrate. And yet, we have not come this far to only come this far. We know that we cannot leave anyone behind in our fight for civil liberties. There is no waiting a turn for freedom. There's no, we'll come back for you next. There's no, well, we'll see if we can get to that next year. No, it must be all of us, and it must be all of us right now. This is the call. The bad news is it's not going to be easy. If there's anything that 2020 has taught us is that nothing is going to be easy. But the good news is that we on this Zoom call, we are not looking for what's easy. We're not looking for a leisurely ride to freedom and liberation, because we know that that means we packed too light. It means we left too many of our sisters and brothers and siblings along the way. And what good is our arriving at the top if all it affords us is a bird's eye view of everyone we left behind? Now, I can tell that you know that because you are celebrating and honoring the leaders who belong at the front of our movement, listening to and following the communities most impacted, centering and uplifting the courageous and strategic and brilliant and imaginative Nebraskans that are building something better for all of us. I was so proud of the ACLU Nebraska when I looked at your powerful award recipients today. In particular, honoring the protesters who have called America forward like never before. In particular, the powerful and transformative work of Black and Pink and my friend Dominique, an organization that centers our need for an intersectional fight. In particular, I Be Black Girl, a collective that calls to my very soul. Because if we aren't uplifting and supporting Black femmes, then y'all, what are we even doing here? And of course, in particular, Senator Ernie Chambers, a civil rights leader that has worked his entire life to build a future for Nebraskans. It is clear in the award recipients you've centered, it is clear in these recipients accepting these awards that Nebraska, the ACLU Nebraska, is doing something very, very right. Now, when I was getting to know these leaders and organizations better, I kept coming back to our rally cry at the ACLU. We believe we the people means all of us. And some of you may be familiar with that slogan. We've been workshopping it for a while now. We believe we the people means all of us. Now, I love it, but let's be honest, there's a whole lot of debate, right? Because we know that when those words were written, they didn't mean all of us. It didn't mean Black people or Indigenous people or women. It didn't mean a lot of the people that are on this Zoom today. When our country's framers wrote those words, they may not have meant all of us. But our work at the ACLU has always been aspirational. Our work has always been about believing in something greater than what was first written and believing in something bigger than whoever first wrote it. And that's the beauty of the ACLU of Nebraska. Because whether it's someone being forced into a hospital while they're trying to mow their lawn, or a student who's assaulted by a teacher at a school dance, when they say some of us, we say, well, we'll just have to see you in court. Now, you all know I work at the ACLU National, and I work about two doors down when offices were a thing, 2 doors down from our National Executive Director, Anthony Romero. Anthony started at the ACLU just 2 weeks before September 11th, 2001, 19 years ago. And he talks often about how the organization has changed and grown and expanded and adjusted to meet the civil liberty needs and challenges of our time. And when he talks about this time in our country's history, he says, we are in the fight of our lives. And I agree with Anthony. But when I look at the work ahead for the ACLU of Nebraska and all of our affiliates, when we're talking about people of color and Black and Indigenous and Latinx people specifically, when we're talking about women and immigrants, LGBTQIA people, and especially our trans and non-binary siblings, when we're talking about people experiencing poverty or people that are incarcerated or formerly incarcerated, people with disabilities or our Muslim and Jewish communities, young people, elders, we are not just in the fight of our lives. We are in the fight for our lives. But we are well armed in this fight. You all are bold thinkers and brave actors. You are accomplices and agitators. You are resistors and builders. You are who we've been waiting for. And I am so grateful that you were not alone. As Marge mentioned, we are more than 500,000 people nationwide are card-carrying members of the ACLU. And as long as we are striving for justice, equality, and liberty, we are part of an unshakable legacy. We, you and I, civil libertarians, are the descendants of Roger Baldwin and Helen Keller. We're the wildest dreams of Black Nebraskans, Rowena Moore and Bertha Calloway. We're the legacy of a proud Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We're the torchbearers of Roe v. Wade, Brown v. Board, Lawrence v. Texas. We are the promise of democracy, of justice, and of liberty. Now, I know I'm pushing my time, so I'm gonna get out of the way so we can hear from our astoundingly brilliant award recipients. But before I go, let me leave you knowing that no matter how long you've been here or what led you to the ACLU, this is your home. Home is in the quiet, long nights of this work, and it's in the bright spotlight of our victories. Home is in the communities we bring with us and the fullness of knowing we belong. Home is better than what we remember and bigger than who we are right now. Home is the feeling of resilience and the expansiveness of our own power. Thank you all for the transformative work you're doing every day to make these cities, this state, and this country home. A home where we, the people, truly, finally, means all of us. Thank you so much.
Hi, can you hear me, friends? Boy, what would be a Zoom call without a few headaches tech-wise, and especially for me. So let me just get a note. Okay, I see that my friends can hear us. Let me start by introducing myself and then also just expressing our incredible gratitude to those who kicked off our annual meeting today. And our special guests. So first, a virtual round of applause for our incredible, intrepid board president, Marge Plum. Yay, thank you so much for your leadership this year and for many years that have helped us grow, evolve, change, and challenged us to meet the civil liberties and civil rights challenges before us here in Nebraska, and to look forward, to be prepared to meet those on the horizon, as Marge always challenges us to do. I also want to thank our incredible keynote speaker, Amber Hikes. When we were talking about what we wanted to do, what tone we wanted to set for this annual meeting, and to really provide that warm welcome to all of our supporters and members of the ACLU of Nebraska, who better than to set the tone for belonging than Amber Hikes. And her leadership prior to the ACLU and now within the ACLU continues to inspire our team to be better, to do better, to work harder, to be more intentional, to work with purpose, and to live our values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Thank you so much, Amber, for raising our spirits on, yes, normally we would have a very sunny Nebraska day to welcome you to be a part of, but today things are a bit dreary. Nevertheless, our hearts are full and our spirits are high. Amber, thank you so much for sharing your incredible leadership, inspiration, brilliance, and heart with us at our annual meeting today. And when COVID permits, you are definitely coming to visit us in Nebraska so that we can give a long overdue hug right back.
Thanks so much, Daniela. I'd be delighted. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I also want to give a special shout out to our interpreter who's joining us here today, and to thank her for lending her time and talents to make our annual meeting more inclusive, and to really set that true belonging for all of our supporters. I also want to thank our team, our incredible ACLU of Nebraska team, our small but mighty team, which is growing stronger and more brilliant every single year. I'll tell you, this is my 6th year at the helm of the ACLU after I was term limited from our unique and wonderful Nebraska unicameral legislature. And when I started just 6 years ago, we had a team of 4, a modest docket, and we had just put our toes into the policy arena at the Nebraska legislature. Here we are 6 years later with sound, robust finances, taking a position on over 300 pieces of critical civil rights legislation every biennium, leading ballot initiatives for key racial justice and economic justice issues, and with a growing, vibrant, robust docket of litigation, taking up some of the most complex and important civil rights and civil liberties challenges that we're facing in Nebraska. So our team of now 11 team members and counting is grateful for your support that allows us to do this work, that allows us to grow and build, that allows us to move from just being content to play defense to putting forward a strong, vibrant, proactive program to expand and protect the civil rights and civil liberties of all Nebraskans in the courts, in the halls of power, and in the streets. Those are the key strategies that we use to advance our work and our mission. And I'm delighted to provide just a few highlights about our year. And oh my gosh, what a year, 2020, right? And then to turn it over to really make sure to shine a bright spotlight on our incredible award winners that we're honored to honor today. So we started off with our normal book of work, which is robust, from free speech to voting rights to reproductive justice to racial justice to prison reform to immigrants' rights. We work the waterfront at the ACLU, protecting all those civil rights and civil liberties guaranteed to all Nebraskans. And then COVID hit. And what did our team do? We engaged in adept, effective, rapid response to develop a portfolio to protect civil rights and civil liberties amid a pandemic, working to protect access to reproductive health care when DHMs came down that threatened that, working to provide access to the ballot box so that no Nebraskan had to choose between their health and their vote, and working to ensure that Nebraskans who are incarcerated are treated equitably and fairly and humanely as they face extraordinary challenges trying to secure just the most basic public health needs to weather this pandemic that we're in. And then shortly thereafter, we met the challenge that is this long overdue reckoning on race and police violence and police brutality that emanated from the tragic death of George Floyd, that we saw extended with the tragic death of James Scurlock closer to home. And now we see another dark chapter as our states and our communities work through the aftermath of the death of Kenneth Jones. And the ACLU was there, arming protesters to know their rights, providing legal observation, working to resource organizers with the information and resources they need to do their work. And when cries for justice were met with criminalization and militarization, ensnaring almost 1,000 peaceful Nebraskans who were protesting for racial justice, we unveiled a $100,000 Freedom Fund to provide bail support, private attorneys for protesters, to help pay fines and fees, to assist with diversion costs, and to also negotiate for many of those charges to be reduced or dismissed. Then, as we continued our work through the summer, we capped a continued legislative session with big wins on racial justice, requiring every law enforcement officer takes anti-bias training annually. We stopped solitary confinement and solitary for other vulnerable populations. And we came one vote short of stopping an abortion ban that seeks to put abortion care out of reach for more Nebraskans. So even though we came up short there, we built power along the way, and we're prepared for the challenges that are before us. We weren't content to sit idle and celebrate those legislative victories, even though they're historic and important. We worked with 11 state senators that you're going to hear more about in a little bit to create history, to have a special session called to focus on racial justice. The fact that the call happened made history in Nebraska. The fact that those 11 senators stepped forward to say, this will no longer do. We must chart a different path. We must hear the cries for justice from Nebraskans who are crying out for a more humane, just, free, and liberated Nebraska. And we were able to organize incredible power with our partners in that effort along the way. The effort came up a bit short, but we made history, and we've set the stage and the table for the session that will come before us. So with that, I want to make sure that we really highlight and spotlight the incredible award winners that our board has selected to honor this year. The first award will go to the Defender of the Bill of Rights. This award honors individuals and organizations that work independently of the ACLU of Nebraska to advance civil rights and civil liberties. And today we honor those 11 state senators who listened to the community and who initiated a call for a special session singularly focused on racial justice and police reform. We asked them to contribute some video remarks today, and they graciously agreed. So let's go ahead and hear from those incredible state leaders who said, it's time to chart a new course. It's time to advance racial justice in Nebraska.
Hi, everybody. This is Senator Tony Vargas. I wanted to say thank you so much to ACLU Nebraska for this Defender of the Bill of Rights Award recognition, alongside my other colleagues that called for a special session this year. I got elected 4 years ago, and I promised that I would work on elevating the voices of those not heard and fight for all Nebraskans. And that means addressing issues of racial injustice and racial inequity in all systems. This year has been no different. We have just seen it more heightened. And so I will continue to work on these issues with my colleagues. I look forward to doing it this upcoming January. And I know that the work is not done, but I'm lucky that we have ACLU of Nebraska to do this work alongside us. Thank you to everybody for this wonderful recognition. We look forward to doing this work together. And thanks for continuing fighting for the downtrodden. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Senator Megan Hunt, and I just wanted to thank the ACLU for including me as a recipient of the Bill of Rights Award this year. Of course, none of us do this work to receive awards, and I wish that we could have done more this year to call for a special session, to do more legislatively for racial justice in Nebraska, to do more for people impacted by COVID-19, especially our workers, especially those in food processing plants, our servers, our grocery store workers, our childcare and teachers and healthcare workers. We know now more than ever here in late November when I'm recording this, how much it could have meant to people if we had been able to do more in the legislature. But as Senator Ernie Chambers says, we have to remember that success is doing what is available for us to do. And so I want to thank my colleagues who co-signed to be co-sponsors of calling for a special session, because I think that made a big difference to people in Nebraska to know that there's people fighting for them. And no matter what happens, we're always going to continue to fight another day, because what we're doing is righteous, We're on the side of justice, and we will continue doing whatever is available for us to do for the cause of justice. So thank you for this recognition. The work continues, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to take a moment to thank all of you for all of your incredible work over the last several years, and particularly over the last summer, in working to ensure that we have equality and racial justice in the state of Nebraska. It goes without saying that we have a ton of work to do. And I know that myself and at least 10 of my colleagues, and I know many more, will be introducing legislation next session and fighting to bring meaning to the words equality before the law. I know that this is a struggle that cannot be accomplished in one session, but I also know that alongside with all of you and organizations like the ACLU of Nebraska, we can work to finally achieve racial equity, equality, and justice in the state of Nebraska. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. This is State Senator Matt Hansen, and I wanted to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation for being honored with this award. Looking at the list of past recipients and seeing so many wonderful people and individuals who've been recognized with this in the past, it is truly an honor to receive this award from the ACLU. I do want to thank the ACLU and all the other community groups and community organizers who really pushed for and advocated for these issues over the summer. I know we, the senators today, are the ones being recognized, but really our work was inspired by and motivated by the work of so many hardworking community advocates and community organizers who really kept some of these issues of justice on people's radar and in the news and on the attention that really enabled and inspired our work in the legislature. So thank you. I'd also like to thank my staff, Courtney, Keenan, and Tom, as well as my family, especially my wife, Jane. The work we do as senators is really supported by so many individuals, oftentimes behind the scenes, who don't always get the true recognition and credit they do. So I wanted to make sure to include that. Again, this is an incredible honor, and I thank the ACLU for recognizing our senators for our work. Thank you.
Thank you, ACLU, for this award. I'm so honored and grateful for your recognition of the efforts of my colleagues and I in the legislature to battle systemic racism. We have so much work to do. We have to continue working together. We have to work together on sentencing and on juvenile justice. So many areas where there's disparate impact of people of color. So I look forward to continuing our battles together, continuing our work and our efforts. Thank you to ACLU for all of your advocacy, your advice, your ability to inform our work with data and important support. So I just can't thank you enough. What an honor it is to work with you, ACLU, and to be honored by you. Thank you very much.
Wow, you can see how special this is for us to be able to honor these incredible state leaders who not only led the charge for a special session dedicated to racial justice, but who fight hard every day to advance civil rights and civil liberties in Nebraska on a host of key issues. And they do it with such heart and such brilliance and such strategy. And we're so honored to be able to work with them daily and to be able to honor their work and reflect on our time together and our work together today. And it was so nice that they took time out of busy schedules to join us and to send videos as well. So next up is the Roger Baldwin Civil Libertarian of the Year Award. And we have a host of honorees this year, which is absolutely appropriate. So I want to give a shout out to our board for ensuring that we give respect and credit for these wonderful partners who are working with the ACLU to advance civil rights and civil liberties. So first up, we're going to be bestowing the Roger Baldwin Civil Libertarian of the Year Award to two of our most beloved partners, Ivy Black Girl and Black and Pink. And we are so always excited to work with these organizations on a host of different issues and strategies. But one particular strategy and project that we wanted to lift up and recognize today was in the wake of George Floyd's death, and amid the emergent days and weeks of this renewed racial justice reckoning. Our friend Dominique Morgan posted some really critical information on social media, and she lifted up an inventory of ways people can effectively engage in the racial justice movement and take positive action. And it just sparked a thought as I was scrolling through my social media feed that evening, that we need to make a Nebraska specific racial justice inventory. And so we immediately reached out to Ash Spivey at IB Black Girl and Dominique Morgan at Black and Pink. And we started that conversation. And in true rapid response mode, we developed a robust, comprehensive, Nebraska-specific racial justice inventory, lifting up Black and Indigenous-led and people of color-led organizations in Nebraska that people should support, follow, contribute to. We lifted up a host of key issues for people to engage in the political process and exercise their voting rights. And we elevated key issues in racial justice that were pending before school boards and city councils and the Nebraska legislature to help people get up to speed on those issues and figure out how to take action and make a positive difference. And not only was the effort itself rich and purposeful, but it received an incredible response all across the country and right here in Nebraska. And we've been asked to train on the inventory. We've been asked to share the inventory. We're currently updating the inventory. And it's been the touchstone for Nebraska activists who care about racial justice, who are learning about racial justice, to enter the conversation and to enter it effectively with concrete ideas about how to do the work at home, right here in Nebraska, the Nebraska that we love and the Nebraska that we're working to make more just and free every day. So with that, we're going to hear from our beloved partners at IB Black Girl and at Black and Pink.
Hi, my name is Dominique Morgan. I am the Executive Director of Black and Pink. I wanted to just come and share our sincere appreciation for being acknowledged as the 2020 Roger Baldwin Civil Libertarian of the Year Award recipient. It's also my understanding that we are co-winners with IB Black Girl and the amazing work that they do in our state. Black and Pink is proud to be a nonprofit here in Nebraska. We are proud to be disruptors and individuals who are investing in our people directly and engaging in partnerships to make sure that that change can happen on a macro scale. When I think of the experiences of being marginalized people in the state of Nebraska, as a lifelong Nebraskan, as a Black trans woman, I know that it takes an extreme amount of allyship, mental fortitude, and audacity to fight back against these systems that are so deeply rooted in our communities. So to be acknowledged for our work that we feel privileged to do, is something that we are just extremely appreciative of. 2020 was not the year that any of us expected it would be. But what I can say is that the people that I believe in, the people that I trust most, showed up in the ways that I expected them to show up. And because of that, it allowed us at Black and Pink to do our work at brand new levels. And I'm excited for what 2021 will bring. I'm excited to continue to partner with amazing organizations like IB Black Girl and ACLU of Nebraska as we expand our work in Nebraska. And last but not least, I want to say that we will always be our own liberators. Trust in people. Listen to those who are most impacted. Listen to Black women, and enjoy our leadership, enjoy our power, not from a space of our trauma or a space of wanting us to be the ones that uplift you, but just find joy in our power and our leadership because it exists and it deserves to exist and it deserves to live on a expansive plane. So again, thank you for this honor. We are so appreciative, and let's see what we can do next.
Hi there, my name is Jay Warren Teamer, and on behalf of the IB Black Girl Advisory Committee and all of the Black women, girls, and femmes represented in our collective, thank you so much to the ACLU for this prestigious award. Our work on the Anti-Racism Toolkit in partnership with the ACLU and Black in Pink is a reflection of our commitment to dismantling systemic and systematic racism, especially for those of us who live at that intersection of Blackness and womanhood. We honor and prioritize and lift up everyone who is represented in that intersection, and we are unapologetic about that. IB Black Girl is a collective that focuses on ensuring that all Black women, girls, and femmes can reach their full potential. And we accomplish that work through several ways: growing, connecting, giving, and taking action. And Take Action is the advocacy book of our work, and this is where the toolkit falls in. And so we, as a volunteer-led organization in partnership with the Women's Fund of Omaha, are just really grateful and humble that Black women, girls, and femmes trust us to do this work, to speak out on their behalf, and we'll continue to do that. So again, thank you so much to the ACLU. And if you want to learn more about IB Black Girl, you can visit our website at ibblackgirl.com. Thank you, take care, and stay safe.
Okay. Thank you so much to Dominique Morgan and to Jay Warren Teamer. Wow, it's always a pleasure and an honor to share space with both of those incredible leaders. And I just couldn't agree more that as this work can sometimes be arduous and frustrating and difficult, it's important that we reclaim our joy in doing this work, and we ground our work in resilience and hope, and recognize how fortunate we are to be able to live our values as we do this work, and to make the world a stronger, better, freer, fairer place for all of us and our families and our neighbors, and of course, the next generations to come. So on those days when I get tired, and that does happen sometimes, I remember how lucky we are to do this work and how important this work is, and how much richer this work is because we get to do it in partnership with so many people. Some who make headlines and some who don't, some who operate behind the scenes. But there was definitely a large group of people making headlines this summer in Nebraska that is sharing the Roger Baldwin Civil Libertarian of the Year award this year. And this goes out to all the protesters in Nebraska who hit the streets, who made a contribution in their own way, who supported calls for racial justice and an end to police brutality, who worked diligently to bring basic COVID protections to essential workers in our meatpacking communities, and who really worked creatively and with heart and with dedication to say no more in Nebraska. This does happen in Nebraska. We can do better in Nebraska. And joined that proud, long, strong American tradition that's patriotic, by dissenting, by organizing, by associating with like-minded individuals, by petitioning their government for change. Those are key ingredients in a vibrant democracy, and we saw that play out in communities large and small all across Nebraska all throughout this Freedom Summer. And so we wanted to give special recognition to those incredible protesters and recognize that they're Nebraskans of all shapes and sizes, all across the political spectrum, some new to the movement work, and some legacy members who bring a lot of talent and experience. But the work was led by primarily young Black and Brown leaders and Indigenous leaders in Nebraska, who did an incredible job organizing their communities and petitioning their government for change. So with that, we want to make sure to recognize this incredible set of protesters. And we want to let you all know that we want to celebrate with you as well. So the ACLU of Nebraska commissioned an unique piece of art through local artists with collaborators at the Union for Contemporary Art to capture some of the energy and spirit that we saw play out in Nebraska this summer. And you can go to our website. There's a web form there, and you can sign up and we'll mail one of these unique, beautiful pieces of art out so that you can display it proudly and celebrate with us and reflect and remember your contributions over the summer of 2020 in making Nebraska a better place. Okay, and with that, I can't think of a better way to end this program than by bestowing the Robert Spire Lifetime Achievement Award on who else but State Senator Ernie Chambers. This will be Senator Chambers' fourth award from us over the span of his formidable career. Yay, there's Senator Chambers. As many of you know who are Nebraska folks and a part of this work, Senator Chambers typically doesn't engage in award presentations, and he was kind enough to call and express his gratitude for receiving the recognition, but also shared his regrets because he doesn't like to be in the spotlight in this way. But I'm honored to not only have the opportunity to work with Senator Chambers in this role as director of the ACLU of Nebraska, but I had the honor to serve with Senator Chambers for 4 years as a Nebraska state senator as well. And his leadership and his friendship is something that is invaluable to me and invaluable to Nebraska. Senator Chambers has been a stalwart champion for religious freedom, for the First Amendment, for voting rights, for LGBTQIA rights, for prisoners' rights, for immigrants' rights, on behalf of women. And as he aptly denotes his title in Nebraska publications, he is the defender of the downtrodden. He is tireless, he is brilliant, he is creative, he is provocative, and he, of course, was at the forefront of our racial justice work together this year that we want to give a particular celebration to and recognize his many, many achievements, repealing the death penalty, installing a requirement for racial justice, racial bias training for all law enforcement officers in Nebraska. The list goes on and on and on. So with that, we send our love, we send our thanks to Senator Ernie Chambers, who, of course, has touched Nebraska in innumerable ways. And then here at this capstone, at this juncture of his career, is really getting, now in this moment, incredible national and international recognition for his role in protecting Nebraska's unique electoral vote process from attack in our legislature over these many years, and always standing up for the rights of Black Nebraskans and Nebraskans of color to have a fair shot in our democratic processes. So with that, join me in sending all of our love to Senator Chambers in this moment to thank him for all he's done and the ways he's inspired us to work harder and be better. Okay. Wow. That was a whirlwind of wondrousness, a rollicking, wonderful civil rights and civil liberties montage, recapturing and reflecting on our success together over 2020. We couldn't do it without our supporters who provide financial support, who amplify our work in their networks, who speak out, who take action, and who help in so many ways, volunteering on committees, volunteering on the board, partnering with the ACLU, making connections. Thank you to all of you for all that you've done to make our work stronger and better. And let me specifically thank some of the special sponsors for our annual meeting: Eagle Printing and Sign, Mueller Roback, Disability Rights Nebraska, and Legal Aid of Nebraska all provided generous financial support to help make this special event possible. And we're so privileged to work with them, these partners, on critical issues many times in 2020 and over the years. So with that, thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your activism. And thank you for your support of ACLU of Nebraska. Be well, be safe, reclaim your joy, take care of each other, and let's reflect on our many blessings with gratitude for the successes that we've shared together in 2020 as we renew and prepare for a strong